they're doing. If you're in your at any point in your pregnancy, for instance, just pumping your gas. You don't want to stand next to the gas pump. Put the, pull in to get your gas, and once you get the nozzle down into the gas tank there, step away from it. Move 10, 15 feet away from that. Do not be breathing in those fumes. They're carcinogenic. They affect your brain. They affect your central nervous system. And when you're pregnant, your body has to break all of that down. And what you're doing, anything that you take in by mouth or you breathe in or you put on your skin, is ultimately going to be processed through your bloodstream. And that bloodstream will reach the unborn child. So it's very, very important to make sure that you're very conscientious of the foods that you're eating and very conscientious of the surroundings and things going on around you. Birth defect rate, like I said, in 1985, I was told by a genetic specialist, was 1 in 4. And we have, and that 1 in 4 means that doesn't necessarily mean that is a birth defect that is noticeable. That can be something that the child is not 100%, and it is something that can show up by the time they're a year old, or 2 years old, or 5 years old. Maybe you notice these things once they start an academic structured environment. I know that with my my granddaughters that I'm raising, they take a school lunch. I pack their lunch. Looking over the menu at school, they're not going to eat that food. So I pay $2.47 a day for their lunch. And especially when it is food that they are not going to eat. So their diet is, everything is organic, and the 16-year-old can be a little more lenient about that than the 8-year-old. The 8-year-old is very adamant. If it's not organic, her nose is up in the air and she will not eat it. And so things I kind of want to talk about, with pregnancies, first off, it certainly is hopefully someone with a planned pregnancy will take care of their health and like I said, do some cleanses. And cleansing doesn't necessarily have to be where, you do a 3-day fast and an intense lower bowel cleanser. We can cleanse the body very gently at the same time as building the system as well. Because, everybody has to work. So we don't want to do major intense cleanses that give you swollen glands and, very loose stools to where you cannot be productive at work because you're hanging out in the bathroom most of your shift. So that's unacceptable. So it is a matter of a good balance of some cleansing as well as quite a bit of building, because even when we build the system up, the body will pick off toxins and get rid of those at a pace that the body can handle. And you don't want to shock the cells, tissue with a very real intense cleansing. So it's really important that people that are planning on having a family, that a good 6 months to a year before that, make sure that you are eating well, that you are eating organically, staying hydrated, working on bringing balance to any systems involved in your body that you have been having a problem with. I've talked about in the past about immunizations and the thimerosal, which is mercury, and aluminum that are in those immunizations. They are They are neurotoxins. They affect the central nervous system. And some people with sensitivities to those do have reactions to the immune system. And many times, a lot of people do get sick with the very vaccine that they were inoculated against. So when it comes to finding out that you have conceived and you're growing a baby and you want that baby to be as healthy as possible, it's really important that you get at least 2 to 3 fruits a day, 7 vegetables a day. And that is 7 vegetables. That is a measurement of 1 cup of vegetables. Then, this would entail, a lot of fresh salads and steamed foods. I don't recommend that people use canned vegetables. They are very devoid in nutrients. There is also the inside lining of the cans that are lined with plastic. Those emit toxins as well in food, because when you stop and think about the amount of heat that is needed in the processing of canning the vegetables and the fruits as well, it destroys a lot of the nutrients. Microwaves, I'm sorry, for a lot of you out there, you microwave your foods and you are destroying over 80, scientifically now the research is you destroy 90% of the nutrition in that food. So microwaving really is not a way to be preparing your food, and certainly microwaved foods should never be given to children. Formula, water, I don't even care if you're trying to heat the water up in the bottle for heating the water that way in a microwave. It's just as easy to fill up a good size glass or a pan and put hot water in that and prepare the bottle, put the bottle down into that, and by the time you change a diaper and put a bib on them and get them ready to feed them, that bottle's warm. Never, also don't add any of those cereals and stuff. It cannot digest them. But I'm going to go back to pregnancy here. Protein count, 100 grams a day. There's wonderful sources of protein out there. Chia seeds, there's the hemp protein that is saturated with essential fatty acids, DHA that is needed for the central nervous system, and proper development of neurotransmitters. The brain is comprised mainly of fat. So DHA, salmon oil, lecithin, olive oil, these kinds of things are needed in the diet in order to build a healthy nervous system with the unborn child. Anemia is another problem today. And when you're taking a prenatal vitamin, it's important that I would get, on kingdomofhealing.com, there's prenatal vitamins that you can order from there at wholesale. There's 800 micrograms of folic acid in that. And folic acid is, most everyone has heard of spina bifida. Spina bifida is preventable, but that's preventable in the womb. And that is where folic acid at 800 micrograms is extremely important for during prenatal life, because those the nervous system, everything's developing during prenatal life, and the nutrients that you're lacking during pregnancy will have a lifetime effect on your child once they're born. So things like folic acid, not having enough of that is what causes spina bifida. A lack of vitamin A has been linked with abnormalities in the eyes, and it is also responsible for the cleft lip and cleft palate. B1 is essential in preventing stillbirths and low birth weight babies. A lack of B1 also causes heart disorders in babies. Riboflavin B2 is needed in larger amounts during pregnancy, along with all of the B vitamins. Deficiencies have been related to short limbs and cleft palates. Niacin or niacinamide, which is B3, can cause nervousness and insomnia and give you a really irritable baby. It also has a lot to do with muscular weakness with the baby, an infant. B6 deficiencies have been linked to fetal abnormalities, and the whole B complex is very important with the spina bifida and with cleft palates. Folic acid is needed to also to help with the prevention of anemia, and it's involved with DNA synthesis and is needed for rapidly growing cells. It helps to prevent birth defects. Vitamin C is needed to prevent infections and improve immune response. Low vitamin C levels are associated with smaller babies. It's needed every day. Vitamin C is also used up quite a bit in the system if mothers are smokers. And then you also have to worry about the cadmium that is in the tobacco and the paper as well, and the sulfur that's in the paper, that these are being breathed in and brought into the system. And so they do have a negative effect on the growing fetus. Calcium is important in the prevention of premature births. It's needed for healthy growth of the bones and teeth, and the teeth developing during prenatal life. It's extremely essential for the nervous system. Magnesium is needed to prevent miscarriages and birth abnormalities. It's also common in, this is seen to be very common in pregnancies, so magnesium is something that is needed. And we need to have these in natural sources because, like I've told you before, when you take vitamins that are synthetically made, they actually will cause the problem that you are trying to take that nutrient for to correct. Phosphorus is important, but a high intake of phosphorus can cause disturbances in the calcium balance. So too much phosphorus can prevent the absorption of calcium as well as iron. Cow's milk is high in phosphorus. Soda pop is high in phosphorus. This imbalance can cause congenital abnormalities. Now, congenital abnormalities, those are problems that the children are born with. Manganese is another mineral that is extremely important for the central nervous system, and it can cause brain abnormalities if there's low levels of manganese. Another thing that can cause brain abnormalities in the fetus is a lack of iodine, and Japan determined that over 5 decades ago with mental retardation, and they found that they had higher incidences of mental retardation with children that were born inland because the soil was deficient in iodine. Well, our soil is deficient in iodine as well in the United States. And people that live along the coastal states that have a plentiful diet of seafood have higher levels of iodine, and iodine is needed for the health of the thyroid. So when there is iodine needs to be increased during pregnancy because a lack of it will cause the fetus to fail to develop normally.